This is the story we've been buzzing about all morning. We've all heard of homeschooling, but what about unschooling? It's a growing new movement that pretty much lets kids do whatever they want during the day instead of going to school. Now, I have to admit, I have a bias in this. I think it sounds crazy. But Juju Chang went out and reported this story. And Juju, you did find some people who think this is a very powerful way to help kids learn.
Absolutely. And they tend to be well-meaning parents, absolutely. But it looks and it feels a lot like playing hooky, to be honest. The premise is let a child follow his or her own passions, and the learning will come from the doing. But most educators say there is often a huge gap between the utopian ideal and reality.
Imagine a world without school. For the Biegler kids, it's a reality. They're at home, not being homeschooled, they're being unschooled. We're talking about no textbooks, no tests, no formal education at all.
Over here, we're growing some pickles.
Living your life as if the school system didn't exist.
They'll never get X plus Y equals Z.
No, if they need formal algebra understanding, then they will find that information.
Kids doing whatever they want.
They might watch television, they might play games on the computers.
Might read.
I know my kids, if they have a choice between watching TV and reading.
The key there is that you got to trust your kids to find their own interests.
But can we, really?
This, to me, is putting way too much power in the hands of the kids, something that we know kids actually can often find very anxiety-producing. And it's also sending a message that, they're the center of the universe, which I do not think is healthy for children.
The Bieglers are radical unschoolers. They extend their kids' choice philosophy to parenting, allowing their kids to make all their own decisions. No chores, no rules.
You guys can't go in there.
I imagine like feral children running wild. How can you parent without any rules?
We find that we don't need a whole lot of rules.
Your daughter stays up all night.
Yeah.
Isn't that sort of counterproductive?
No, she's getting everything done that she wants to get done.
Though it varies from state to state, it's perfectly legal in Massachusetts. They just have to report once a year to the local school authorities. And the Bieglers may be part of a growing trend. Of the 56 million school kids, 1.5 million are homeschooled, and 10% of those are estimated to be unschoolers. Discovery Health chronicled the life of one young unschooling family.
Today we're going to the local farm. How much money did you bring?
$1.10.
It's amazing when you broaden the scope of what you see as learning versus, trying to look at workbook sheets. There is no hierarchy in our house, so there's no punishment, no judgment, or discipline. They just get what they need for breakfast and go to wherever feels comfortable for them to eat. You're gonna have a donut? Okay. Are we gonna brush teeth? Hygiene was one of the last things to go for us as far as being relaxed in our parenting style.
We wondered what happens when the kids are older. Teenagers SHAUN and KIMI Biegler have been unschooled for 6 years.
When was the last grade you went to school?
It was first grade when I stopped.
Do you ever miss or regret not being in a normal school?
I don't regret it, but sometimes I wonder what my life would be if I continued going to school. I was never really into some of the stuff that I had to learn in school.
But you were 7, what do you know? Well, in PE you learned volleyball and basketball and football. Have you explored any sport?
No, they haven't really been an interest of mine.
That's what school is about, to be exposed to all these things that maybe you would like one of them. You would be, what, a junior in high school?
I really don't know.
Do you feel prepared for college? Do you feel like you're prepared academically and socially
no,
for
not
college?
really, because I haven't done the traditional look at a textbook and learn about such and such. If I wanted to go to college, then I would pick up a textbook and I would learn.
Isn't it the job of the parent to teach the child to do things that they don't want to do?
They will do what they need to do, whether or not they enjoy it, because they see the purpose in it.
Do you ever worry, though, about raising your kids so far out of the mainstream that they will be handicapped in some way?
The way they learn, growing up is different than what most other people do. But in all other aspects, they're living in the mainstream.
They have experiences and knowledge that other people don't.
Now, the reaction to this has been intense, and everyone keeps asking, is this legal? Well, unschoolers typically register as homeschoolers, and we have a map here that shows that each state handles it slightly differently. Some have virtually no oversight. Others, like Colorado, for example, require either testing or evaluation every other year, and parents are all supposed to check in once a year with curriculum, but I'm telling you, basically, they're on their own to study whatever they want.
Wow. Do you have any sense of how many families are actually trying this?
It's a growing number. It's 10% to 20% of homeschoolers, which is a very small fraction, but it is seemed to be a growing movement online. People are talking about it. A lot of families are opting out of the bullying and the sort of competitiveness of public schools and schools, but the truth is, how do you give children choices unless you expose them to things that they don't necessarily know that they want to do? And a lot of educators are doubtful that the curriculum can be sustained over that long time.
Okay, Juju, thanks very much. We want to find out what you think about all this. Weigh in on our message board at abcnews.com. Elliot and Harper, you are not allowed to weigh in.